Like a CIA agent or something.
Oh, yeah.
Who is
Wow.
it? There is somebody who's there, by the way, who does that. And I thought that they were speaking directly to the audience every time because it was so like, he is 6'0", 6'2". He is between 190 and 210 pounds, and he is a. It's like, okay, like
He looks like Josh Hartnett.
yeah, it's really stupid.
Welcome to the Untitled Film Project Podcast, where we suggest go watch the movie, then come hang out with us and let's talk about it. We're talking about Trapped from M. Night Shyamalan. A father and his teen daughter attend a pop star's concert only to find out they're in the middle of something much bigger than what seems to be going on.
What's with all the police trucks outside? The cameras everywhere, Jamie. I'm not supposed to tell. Something happening? Don't rat me out. I won't. You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? Well, the feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today, so they set up a trap for him.
After we talk about Trap, we'll also do our big question. We want everybody's input, but what are we talking about?
So this is obviously kind of a first for Josh Hartnett to be a lead in a considered horror movie of this sort. Who's an actor that has not been in a horror/thriller movie or a movie like this that you'd like to see try out a role like this as a lead? We know plenty have started, in horror, maybe a background, things like that, but we're talking as a lead.
Yeah, and maybe stretching their portfolio. Yeah. The latest from M. Night Shyamalan, Trap. I have not been able to see the movie yet, so I will be kind of moderating, but I have a lot of questions about it. And let's kick off some initial conversations with Mr. Gover.
Well, you guys, Jim here ruined the movie for me before I even bought my ticket.
What?
Let me explain.
What?
Let me explain. I was telling him on the phone that I'm going to go see Trap tonight. And I said, I'm going to go see Trap, but I thought it was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's movie. And he said, it is his daughter's movie. And I'm like, then why am I seeing that it's his movie? Because I meant directing it. I thought she directed it. And he was like, no. He's directing it. She's in it. I was like, oh. And he's like, there's all this, kind of talk about nepotism and like, he made it just for her and all this stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Didn't even think about it. I walk in the theater and I'm like, holy crap!
Is that what it was?
I'm just watching this as a nepotism film now. So he ruined the movie for me in the sense that I cannot shake that.
Did I ruin the movie for you, or did M. Night Shyamalan ruin the movie by trying to promote his daughter's music career through a film?
No, here's the deal, right? I was thinking about this. I was talking to my wife about this.
Okay.
My son dabbles in acting, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Okay? Right? He's trying to get the role of speaking lines and all this stuff. Anyway, my point is that he's got a lot of background stuff and he's done some supporting stuff, but nothing like with lines. Okay, he really wants to do that. If I had money and clout like M. Night Shyamalan does, I'd do the same damn thing. I'd be like, sure, I'll write a movie and put him in this. Like, I would totally do it. So I don't fault him for that. As an audience member, however, I could not shake it that it was clear to me that he only had her on stage or in the movie because it's his daughter. Here's the caveat to that. If that's Ariana Grande up there, it changes the entire
different
film.
story.
And that's why I say Jim ruined it for me. Because if it's anybody else, I have a totally different take on it.
Even though she's actually a performing artist.
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Who has open for acts like Boys to Men.
Yes,
and
because
things
it's
like that.
because it's not just about
That knowledge did it break the glass ceiling in your head?
No.
Like what happens where you're like,
it did, but if she doesn't have to act later in the film, it's probably totally fine. I'm like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you do it? It's fine. Put her. She's a pop star. Put her up there in a concert. She's got dancers and stuff. Totally cool. But the second she gets off stage and she's got to like go into the room with him, which by the way would never happen. So alone, and then she gets in the limo and she's like, let's go to your house. Those are all acting, and they're close up, by the way, acting styles. That's when it like fell apart. She's not bad, but she's average at best, except for a scene that I'll talk about later. But That's what I'm saying. If it was anybody else, if it was an Ariana Grande type, or some other pop star, Katy Perry, whatever, right? It totally separates it because now I'm no longer thinking, oh, you're just in this because your dad directed it and wrote it.
Okay, you spent 3 minutes on nepotism. What did you think about the movie? Is there anything else?
But did that overwhelm the movie so much?
There you go.
Wow. Okay,
Jim, you ruined the movie for him.
I didn't.
I said that.
I know.
I'm just sorry. That's what people were talking about, and I was like curious. But let me ask this: is she as good an actor as her father?
I'd say yeah. I'd say she's better.
Good.
Yes. Yes, Jim, she's better. Put it out there.
All right. Justin Bradford, you didn't have the movie ruined for you.
I did not.
By me.
No, even though, of course, in the credits, I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay.
But you got to get through the movie, though.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, I had that. I was like, oh.
Maybe I can just flip the switch and turn that off.
Maybe you can.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Obviously.
By the way, I'm sure I would have figured it out. They look pretty damn similar. I'm just saying, like, that it was.
I wonder who that is.
Going in.
No, okay. On to the movie.
Yes.
I will at least give credit. It's something original. It's something different.
Yeah, it was cool.
We haven't seen this, and that is something that M. Night Shyamalan does.
Yeah.
Is try to be different. Does everything hit? No. Not everything hits. That's okay, but at least he's trying.
And they're all a pretty good elevator pitch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's a great premise and he doesn't execute it well, but there's always something interesting.
There's always, and at least it's interesting. The thing that stands out to me is Josh Hartnett's creepy range.
I agree with that.
Because obviously we're not used to seeing him in roles. I always think of Josh Hartnett, I think of Pearl Harbor for some reason.
Oh, do you really?
That's
one
of the movies I think of.
It was one of the
where
mass
it just does
audience films.
The hair flip, rom-com/action type of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously he had a role in a major movie last year in Oppenheimer.
Yes.
So, he's done plenty of different roles, but we haven't seen him in a role like this to where I think him as the, I guess, protagonist, villain, throughout the movie, you could see mentally the character breaking down as he's getting closer and closer to being caught. That takes some decent acting chops to pull off from the very start to being fully confident and knowing that you are here. No one knows who the hell you are to the first inkling of, oh, something's up.
This is, things are not as they appear to be.
That throughout the movie, because even the daughter's calling out, Dad, you're being weird. You're being weird. What's going on? You're being weird. Which never would have happened before because he has two separate lives, one being the butcher, one being Cooper, the dad and husband, that you start seeing those things start to mesh together.
Intersecting.
And you see that in the close-up acting, in his facial expressions, in his eyes, in the way his mouth is shaped, that you start seeing the flip happen, that it's almost like a completely two different personalities that are taking place here. Start battling with each other to where they finally do mesh together. I really appreciate that about Josh Hartnett's acting in this movie, of being something very different, and a lot of it, like Over said, is close up. There are plenty of eye roll moments for me.
Okay.
One of these things is that you are at a concert for a pop artist that I would put maybe not at a Taylor Swift level in the movie, like in this world, but probably at a Lady Gaga potentially, or a Dua Lipa. Okay. You're going to sell out concerts, and there's going to be demand for another one. Because the whole premise is that the first concert sold out, so they added an afternoon one. Right. That's the premise here, too. That being said, while the concert's going on, and this is me being over nitpicky, okay? While the concert is going on, and she is performing, the main act is performing, there is no way in hell the concourses would be packed with people like that.
That's right.
They'd be in the arena watching, and the only people you would see would be parents
waiting to bring their kids home,
or to get merch or anything. You're not going to see actual attendees, people that wanted to be at that concert, roaming the concourse while the main performer is performing. You would see the parent, because obviously there's plenty of teenage girls that this applies to, so lots of parents are in the crowd, things like that. Only time you'd see them is if they had to go to the bathroom. These concourses in this movie are packed the entire time. And then it also looks full in the arena. That's not adding up. That, to me, is not doing enough research of what it actually looks like in an arena concourse when a major act is going on. The only time it's that crowded is in between acts. We all know this. You're not seeing where you're having to weave. When we're talking crowded where it's weaving, you'll see people. But Cooper is having to weave between people, and there's just crowds everywhere, while main songs, like songs would be considered the top songs for this artist, are being performed. That is very nitpicky, but it took me out a little bit during this.
Welcome to my world.
But that right there,
one thing,
and I know where they're doing it because part of the distraction, things like that. They're trying to just add to that element of it's busy. How on earth are they going to catch him? Things like that.
Right.
But again, Josh Hartnett, I thought, did a good job. I will pose this question to Gover. The child actor,
Ariel Donahue,
yes,
was awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yes.
To the point where I can't wait for her next role, whatever it is.
All right. And she's had plenty of roles already.
Yeah, she was great. She showed, again, the giddy, teenage girl.
Yep.
She showed the distraught, confused, emotionally broken, trying to sort out what's going on to her. The teenage girl later. She had range. She was excellent. I believed her from the drop. Yeah, she was great. Ariel Donahue stole the show for me, really, other than Josh Hartnett.
One to watch then, huh?
So for me, we've discussed before, I'm not much of a horror guy.
By the way, I wouldn't consider it horror.
But it's labeled that because
Right.
of the director, right?
Stupid.
It's thriller.
I was going to say thriller.
Thriller mystery.
It's a psychological thriller.
That's
what it is.
So this is the kind of movie that I can enjoy way more.
Yes.
Way more. I can get into it. I could tell people in my theater were into it because there's whispers. Every time something would happen that is a key moment, you'd hear if they're trying to figure it out, right? They're live and in the moment trying to figure out what's going on. And the thing is, it's not full of like twists and turns to me. It's just how does he get out? How does he do this? It's the figuring out where you're kind of that omnipresent person watching the villain try to escape being caught, right?
Yeah.
The twist is more on how he does get caught. And it becomes it, which
the twist is the story, not the characters. Of
it's his wife.
Yeah.
It's his wife. It's Allison Pill, who I didn't know she was in it. I was like, oh, cool. Hey, Eva from Goon.
She's really cool. There's something about Allison Pill, like she brings something nobody ever brings to all the stuff that she does.
Right.
And I can't even put my finger on it, but I love her.
Yeah. So now when they get to the house, it kind of took a turn. It was interesting and curious. I'm like, I didn't expect that. Overall, I'm not saying I loved it. I had a good time.
Yeah.
For what it was, I had a good time. I mean, it's not a flop. It's not a total banger. It's not Sixth Sense. It is really hard to get to Sixth Sense level.
I don't think you can put
You just can't.
He hasn't since.
No, he hasn't. So for me, it was enjoyable enough, especially to see Josh Hartnett in a different kind of role. And so I had a good time at the movies with it.
Very good. Okay, it's time to score Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's latest. I didn't see it, so we'll just put like a circle with a line through it for me, or I don't know. Present. Let's get our scores from. Let's start with Jeremy Gover.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 6.0. I liked it better than Knock at the Cabin. I thought it was an interesting.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take. I thought it was an interesting thing. Now, in fairness, I'm a live music snob. I love me some live music. Okay, so I go to a lot of concerts. Well, I used to back in the day, pre-children. Went to a lot of concerts. Love live music, but I was able to kind of relate to the situation because of the fact that it was in a setting that I know very well. Okay, so I really like that. Bradford's absolutely right. Josh Hartnett as he was creepy, but a relatable creepy. Like it could be like the guy down the street from your house, like, and then you don't really know what he's up to, but he's personable, but he doesn't really stand out.
He was a quiet man as they interview him, like by the local news after something horrible.
Yes, he played that. I mean, just outstanding. My thing was the situational stuff, right? Again, the concourse would not be packed. There's a situation where the merch table guy takes him into the back to get more shirts, which is not how it works. There's that. There's several things where there were problems with it, nitpicky stuff. What I want to focus on though in the final score though, other than the fact that I gave it already 6.0, is that Salika was again average at best. acting wise. Okay, great on stage, great on stage because that's where she belongs. Her thing. That fine.
Right.
That doesn't take the whole lot, right? But then when they pull her off and make her a major character in the film, that's when it all kind of went like, okay, like
And all of a sudden, she has absorbed all this knowledge from the profiler.
all
too.
of it for sure.
All this knowledge that quickly.
Yes.
That quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not like, oh, there's a killer. Like she knows that, but it's like all these different things, like how tall he is, what he does for a living, his psychological profile, background,
And his trigger words from his mother.
Yes, thank you. Yes, she's been briefed on all this, and as a pop
she remembers
star,
all of
she
it,
would remember it all. Yeah, right.
Like a CIA agent or something.
Oh yeah.
Who is
Wow.
it? There is somebody who's there, by the way, who does that, and I thought that they were speaking directly to the audience every time because it was so like. He is 6'0", 6'2". He is between 190 and 210 pounds, and he is a. It's like, okay, like
He looks like Josh Hartnett.
yeah, really stupid.
They should bring the graphics up. You've got the
Silhouette of
the
Josh
thing of
Hartnett.
like here's his stats.
Maybe my grade is a 6.0. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of nitpicky things, but Salika was great in the bathroom scene. That's what I was going to get to.
Oh, yeah.
In the bathroom scene, when she takes his phone and she's locked away in the bathroom, and the family disappears audibly because you can't see him, right? She's great. I mean, it's like if that was her audition. Now, again, she's the director's daughter, but if that was her audition, I could be like, okay, I totally see how she got this because it was really good. You could see fear, you could see hope, you could see helplessness, you could see anxiety, you could see all that stuff,
And then determination to help.
right? And determination in a close-up shot, by the way, like a lot of close-ups, you could see it, and I was like, hey, all right, but they waited an hour 15 into the film, maybe even more, to get to that. So I had already kind of like judged her abilities by that point. So again, 6.0 for me.
All right. I found this interesting from Empire Magazine. This was a rotten review, but Hartnett does his best, but director Shyamalan seems more interested in trying to convince us of his daughter's pop star credentials.
I mean, that's
That's what I was talking about.
I mean,
the
but-
word was around, and that's the buzz on this film more than the film itself for a while.
So interesting to me that I enjoyed it. Josh Hartnett, I really enjoyed his chops. The best part, though, was the mid-credit scene.
okay.
Did you watch the mid-credit scene?
I thought so, but now I don't know.
Now, what did you love about
The
it?
mid-credit scene features the vendor.
Oh, yes.
That takes
Yeah, I thought that was weak.
Cooper. Oh, I thought it was the best part because we got a little
There's some division here.
The vendor that takes him
To the back room that doesn't exist.
to get a T-shirt
Right.
with more merch in it because he's talking about how he's a fan of not a fan, but he follows the butcher and he really dives in deep and he talks about it all the time. Where he's watching the news and you just see his face drain as they show who the butcher is, and he's going, "I'm not talking to anybody no more." I thought it was funny. It was a perfect mid-credit scene. That's what it was. It was one of those little zingers.
It was like, let's just film this and see what happens.
And to break you out of the mood because the movie does end with him unlocking his cuffs in the back of the police vehicle. So it leads you to believe that he still is going to escape and other things are going to happen. And then to break out of that, you get a mid-credit scene after about 30, 45 seconds of credits.
Yeah.
That flashes to that and like snaps you out of it. Okay, we're done with the
Gives you a breather.
Yeah.
Lets
And I laughed. Like I laughed out loud because the actor pulled it off well, I think.
He did. It was great.
Yeah, good comedic timing.
I just thought it was
good
kind of
facial
okay.
expressions.
Like I think I smiled maybe as I walked out. It wasn't like
Oh wow, a smile from Goover.
I'm happy for Josh Hartnett because his story is very interesting. He was the it actor at one point, and he left Hollywood because it got too creepy. People following him home, the invasiveness, and it freaked him out, and he left. But he comes back with a superb Oppenheimer appearance, and now he's the the leading role in this movie, and from hearing what you guys have told me, that he still has it, and he brought it here, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, so I forgot that he was also in Ruse de Guerre, Operation Fortune.
Yep.
Played Danny, which was what his character was in Pearl Harbor. Danny. I don't remember that stuff. Anyways, I'm with Gover. I give Trap a 6.0.
It's time on the Untitled Film Project podcast for us to answer the big question, which is...
All right. Obviously, this was a unique role for Josh Hartnett. We're not used to seeing him in a thriller, psychological thriller, quote-unquote horror type of role. What's an actor that hasn't been in these types of roles before that you'd love to see star in a thriller/horror as the lead?
Okay. Well, Mr. Ask the Question, answer your question.
Oh, well, fine. Okay, well... I prepared 2 answers because I was thinking some of you
might take it.
Might take mine. So I'm going to give both of mine.
Okay.
Because you're making me go first. Okay. The first one is Emma Stone.
Oh.
Yeah.
She has a lot of acting chops. She's obviously an Academy Award winner twice. So she can play kooky roles very well.
Obviously.
We've seen, obviously, in Poor Things. I don't think it would take much to transition from something from Poor Things to something that is psychological thriller. She has, obviously, the facial expressions to pull it off. And I'm thinking she could be the one that's the antagonist. She easily could be the one that's the villain or something like that. Not Cruella de Vil villain, but true psychological thriller villain. She has those chops. I'd love to see her in that kind of role. I think it's something that could challenge her in a great way. And it seems like she is 100% always up for a challenge.
Oh, without a doubt.
You get the right director, get the right story, should pull off very well. My other one is Bryan Cranston, Emmy Award winner. He has been in serious roles.
I would, because I'm sitting there thinking, going, well, okay, what about Breaking Bad? Isn't that close enough? Or
I don't think that seems to be more just
drama.
Okay,
with blood.
All right,
and drugs. So, and I think obviously he has those chops. As well. Like, granted, didn't come out that he wants to retire from acting soon, too, though. So, probably more luck with Emma Stone, or Emily Stone, as she could go by as well. But Bryan Cranston, obviously, great actor. I think could do that very, very well. Also playing psychological thriller/horror.
Okay. I would like that. That could be very interesting.
All right, Jim?
I think, to me, I thought, like, okay, who's going to stretch to play, this kind of role, right? Somebody who hasn't been doing that kind of a movie. I would love to see if Rachel Zegler could do this movie. She's talented singer-songwriter, West Side Story, also the latest, Snakes. Yes, the Hunger Games movie that we just most recently saw. Could she do it? I don't know. It would be fun to see her try.
Snow White and the Eighth Dwarf.
I know this is pre Snow White, right? So maybe that would be even more of a stretch. I would also my left field, like if I'm going to get a male actor in there, is somebody who I haven't seen enough of, but somebody I kind of like just fell in serious like with as an actor in the movie Causeway, like Brian Tyree Henry. He's got this presence, and put into that kind of a role, I think it could be really cool. I think he'd be great. Gover.
Well, I'm going to give an answer that's not exactly PC, but I think you'd agree if we take off his legal troubles. Jonathan Majors.
Oh,
I thought about it.
I think he would be a tremendous villain in a psychological thriller or a horror movie. He would be a force to be reckoned with.
Are we hiring him again?
No, but I think in about 2 or 3 years, I think he could.
Okay,
especially a project that's like it's respectable, but it's not like big budget. I think you could reach and grab him. Give him a job. He'd appreciate the opportunity. They'd appreciate having his name attached to it. Grow his career
Will people
back.
come back to watch him?
I don't know. Maybe it's a festival.
I know this is a whole different discussion.
I know.
Yeah,
but that's Jonathan Majors.
Tough to know, but in a hypothetical universe in which his personal troubles did not exist,
right?
You're saying, he's the guy.
I mean, he scared me. Okay, as Kang, because he's so like mild mannered, like this is what the multiverse and this, and then when he said I am Kang, it was like whoa, like it came out of nowhere seemingly.
Okay,
and it was just like okay, this guy could be the creepy neighbor down the street who's like harboring lost children or something.
Sure, yeah. Well, he showed a lot of menace in Creed 3.
And Creed 3,
yeah.
right. That's right. So my backup answer, by the way, in case you didn't like that because it wasn't PC, was Mark Hamill. We know he's played the Joker, obviously, in things.
Yeah.
Right.
But actually on a film, I think he could be a pretty cool serial killer / child abductor with a van.
Hey, Mark, here's what Gover said about you.
I love you, Mark. I love you, Mark. You've had a couple of the greatest characters in my lifetime.
But I still see you as that guy in the creepy van.
It was really cool if you drove a white van without windows and offered up free candy.
I'm saying that's his range. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got a lightsaber for you.
That's a pretty good impression. So, what actor would you like to see maybe stretch into one of those maniacal kind of roles that we were just talking about and we've seen in the movie Trap? We'd love to get your comments. If you're watching the video, please leave it in the comments. Hit us up on socials, UntitledFilmProjectPod.com. We would love to hear your suggestions and let our imaginations run wild.
Thank you for listening to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. To support the show, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe. Original music by Jeremy Schwartz. Special thanks to the Music City Film Critics Association. Editing and post-production by Jeremy K. Gover. Voiceover by Chad Bennett.